Hello and welcome back. I'm Lincoln, and today is the 14th day of October, which means we're 2 weeks into October3D, my sculpting challenge. Here's what I made today. This is the end of the week, so it's all of the sculpts put together in one. Alright, I'm going to put the rest of the prompt list up now. Hey, if you're just joining me, you can see that I've divided my sculpting challenge into days and weeks, so that at the end of the week you can create a cool scene, and it's not so overwhelming to create it by just doing one sculpt and a little bit every day. Hey, if you guys would like to share anything on Instagram, use the hashtag October3D2022 so I can find your work. Alright, let's grab your device. Let's go make a graveyard. Alright, as you can see, I've already kind of got the graveyard scene built, and you can see what I've done. I just trimmed down and moved the tree over in the tree scene that I'd already showed you guys a few days ago. And I just made a simple little box, and it's hollow actually, so we can push down and make a grave hole for the grave. And you can see it's kind of off center, but it doesn't really matter. And then have the moon and this all kind of set in place. Okay, I've got pretty much everything in here. I'm going to save this real quick. And it's going to take a second because it's still pretty heavy, even though I'm at like 29.7 million. And you may not want to be that heavy on what you're doing. Just decimate, and we're going to go decimate something right now, if you guys haven't done it before. So you can see I kind of patina this and cut the headstone all up in pieces. What we're going to do is come in here and go to the resolution tab, and I'm sure you guys have already seen the multi-resolution, the voxel, the dino topo, but the decimation, so this one you can set it up to however much you want to go. It's defaulted at 50%, so we can change that. And then if you want to change it to target triangles that way instead, depends on which way you want to go. And we'll just decimate it, and it'll blast it out for you. You can keep going until you start losing resolution on here, and if I've already got it down to 37.5, although that's only part of it. The light we can get rid of, delete that. The eye, we can delete the eyes and just leave it with these. And for this, so you could decimate it, or in this case I'll leave it separate pieces because I want to lay these down on the ground. So as it is right there, and I don't know why. There we go. Just have to hit off to the side over there. I couldn't see it because of the glare. Okay, so change it to about 50%, and that'll decimate it the best, and you'll see you'll start getting some crazy triangles, and that's when you know you're starting to decimate. You know, I'm going to go back a couple times because I've decimated the same piece. Now let's grab, you got to grab each one and decimate each one. You can see that takes a little bit longer. And that's really heavy. The skull is like really heavy, you can tell. So decimate that. That'll make a big difference. Okay. So then that'll be fine. Now we're down to 173K. Way better than it was. Alright, so we'll save that, yes. And then I'm going to open up my graveyard scene again. And wait for a second because it is still pretty heavy. I decimated a lot of things, but I didn't decimate everything, so it could use a little bit more help. And then we'll add to scene, the last thing. Now this, it'll bring it in if you've never brought anything in from another scene or another thing you've made. It'll bring it in for you, and all together in one piece, which is pretty nice. And we're just going to put this, it's acting really slow because I've got this thing pretty loaded down. Alright, so the last thing I'm going to do is come in and just kind of push the earth down a little bit, and I think I'll move the shovel over. Now I could go in and decimate all this, but I'm not going to mess with it since I'm just trying to get this finished up for you guys. So it would help quite a bit if you did, because it's a little grumpy right now because I've got it really heavy. So I'm just going to push this down, pull that up a little bit, and we'll just call it good. Click on the earth there. Shove it in right there. That looks good. Okay. Now before this thing crashes, I'm going to save it real quick. Now as that's saving, you can see I've got textures on all kinds of stuff now. So I'm going to do a little bit of quick texture in the grave area, and I think we'll be finished. Just so you can kind of see how I've been doing it for everything, because we haven't really gone over that much. And it's really fun to do, and it's easy. So let's grab the paintbrush. We need to click on the earth, grab the paintbrush. Now there's a few different things. Alright, so first off, you need to be in just a flat alpha. Even this one doesn't really work right. You really want to be just in the plain white alpha on the brush, and then come down. If you want it to be pretty much everything, you want that, unless you want it to fade out on the sides. Now normally you're in dot when you're painting, but you need to be grab dynamic radius, and that's about it. And then you may want to do that in case you've got thin areas and you don't want to paint on the back side. Now the other things, the textures, so here you can import any kind of texture. You just click import and pull it from wherever you want. So then I'm going to use one. You can see I've imported several textures in here, and we started to do a little bit with the moon, but I'm going to grab another one for the earth, and there we go. Now the biggest thing you have to make sure of is the material. The material doesn't matter as much. You can change this. We're going to go to rough because I don't want everything, I don't want the dirt shiny, obviously. You come in here now to be able to use this texture, you have to be all the way on white. If you're in any other color, it's going to pull it. When you pull your texture, it'll be that color. So if you go to white, this is what it'll be. And it'll be, I really should remesh this. So this guy here, we'll go ahead and remesh it. And I may have already decimated this. I already have, so there's not much. I should have waited on that. Now that it's decimated, I really can't do much. So we'll put a little dirt in there, but it's not going to look quite right, just because I've already decimated and everything's stretched. So it would have been better to have done this before. It would have been much better to have done this before I decimated it. Now you can see it's got a real hard edge, and if you don't want that, then come in and change your alpha to this, and it'll soften it up on the edges for you. It's just if you want the full alpha, you want it all the way out to the edge. So we're just going to change it up where it's a little bit different. Alright, that'll look pretty good. Yeah, clean this up. But you can see that the alpha, the texture map is not really doing that well on here in some areas where it's real stretched, because I forgot that I had decimated that and I shouldn't have done that yet. Okay, the last thing, now this is a little different. You're not going to have the view in here. Your view would be over here. You can click on your view by this right here and it'll click in. And the 1.66, now I can click on here and it'll do it too. All right, let's turn that off. Now that all looks pretty good. I think I'll leave it like that. The only thing I want to adjust is the moon, because you can see the lines on it are a little funky. So I'll grab the moon and the gizmo. Just going to kind of zoom out just a little bit. And we'll just rotate the moon into place. And that should look pretty good. So where you guys would be, just click on main. And that's it. So I think we're going to call that good. I hope you guys have enjoyed this week, and I will see you next week for the next set of challenges. If you guys have been enjoying these videos, please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. All right, thanks.